because of the schedule, it is scheduled to end at 4. Does anybody have to be out at 4? Okay, what's going to happen then, those that have to leave at 4, because she'll do the book signing at the end. If you have to leave at 4, it won't be the end. So at break, those that are leaving at 4, that need to leave at 4 o'clock, she's allowed that courtesy so that you can get your book signed. Those are the only people that we would require to have your book signed at break. If you're staying for the whole event, she'll sign the books here after the event. Are we clear? Okay. afternoon again, everybody. I am Michael DeFebo. I'm staff minister here, the events coordinator, and welcome to our premier speaker series at Capistrano Valley, San Clemente. Thank you all for being here. Yes. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the practitioners, ministers, and members at large, anybody here for the first time? Oh, I love you all. Now, hold your hands up for the first-timers. How many of you, for the first time, live within 12 miles here? I'll see you on Sunday. So, this is a very relaxed atmosphere. We are a center that welcomes everybody on their path, whatever that path may be. You're here. And so whatever you're here with, you left at the door. You're now embarked and enraptured into the sanctuary of the Center for Spiritual Living and Dr. Judith Orloff. Yes? Yes. Wonderful. Okay. And if you need anything during the trip, see me. And if I don't know, we'll find out. Right? Right. Okay, a bit of housekeeping. If you need to restore your personal comfort, the restrooms are right out the door. We will be taking a short break. We talked about the break if you are leaving at 4 because of the time commitment. We understand. Book signing, she'll sign the book a little bit before, during the break. But if you are staying, please do it at the end. Okay? All right. Now, at this time, it is my honor and privilege and pleasure to introduce to you our spiritual community leader, Dr. Heather Clark. Dr. Heather Clark. Isn't there a movie like that? Sound of Music, that's right. Remember when they're all... Wait. The Reverend Dr. Heather Dawn Clark. She's on the phone. Okay, so can somebody tell me... Oh, I have an idea. We're going to do this little game. I have a prize. Who's driven the furthest to get here? You? Anybody further than Denver? I thought I was far. Anybody further? Anybody further than Denver, Colorado? You win. The Reverend Heather Dawn Clark. Oh, we still got to do it again. That's okay. You came in the furthest. I have a prize for you. I'm coming home with you. That's no prize, right, honey? How many here saw the advertisement in the San Clemente Times? Yes. Wasn't that magnificent? How many are here because of the ad from the San Clemente Times? Great. I would like to introduce to you our sponsor of advertising, Mr. and Mrs. Summers in the front row. So thank you very much. And it is a beautiful ad, if I do say so myself, right? We worked very hard on that. All right. Okay. Reverend Dr. Heather Dawn Clark. She wants to say a few words. No. I'll tell you something that... Nope. Okay. We'll get her opportunity to speak at another time. So, without further ado... what does that mean anyway? Further ado. Let's do... What if I did further ado?
Without further delay.
Judith Orloff, MD, is author of the national bestseller, The Ecstasy of Surrender, 12 Surprising Ways Letting Go Can Empower Your Life. Dr. Orloff is a psychiatrist, intuitive healer, and New York Times best-selling author who synthesizes the pearls of traditional medicine with cutting-edge knowledge of intuition, energy, and spirituality. An assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA, She passionately believes that the future of medicine involves integrating all this wisdom to achieve emotional freedom and total wellness. Dr. Orloff's work has been featured on the Today Show, CNN, Forbes, the Oprah Magazine, and USA Today. I've known her for, when was the first time we met? It was like years ago, many years ago. And so it is my honor and my privilege and excitement to bring here to San Clemente, Dr. Judith Orloff.
Michael, could you turn down the lights a tiny bit? Thank you. Can I go a little closer to them? I'll do it. Okay. Right here is good. Oh, if the crystal could come with me.
Good?
Better. It's such a different feel to be back there versus. I made a request that this crystal be next to me. Isn't it beautiful? Let's put this here, water and a crystal. Very nice. So you can look at this as I'm speaking as well. What do you need? A crystal broke off? Where is the rest of it? Can you bring it? Oh, is it shattered, you mean? Oh, bring the rest of it over. Nice, nice. Changes, unexpected changes that happen.
The Reverend Dr. Heather Clark.
Oh.
My good grief. Oh, my apologies for being late. I just wanted to welcome you, say I'm so happy you all got here today. It was going to be a fabulous afternoon. I was called to the phone by one of our members' children who lives in Hawaii. So I had to take the call. Please excuse me for being late to this wonderful event. Dr. Orloff.
Thank you, Reverend Heather. Thank you. That was very heartfelt. And the fact that you took the call for someone in need is a very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. And we'll be talking about surrender today. And this is an example of surrender. I like to look at life as giving us the gift of information about what we're doing. And so if I'm giving a workshop on surrender and you're here, everything is in service to speaking about that. And so the fact that she was not rigid and didn't say, no, I have to go introduce her, and she took the call and she flowed with it, I think that's really beautiful. I do. Yeah. And, again, life happens. Life changes. This crystal didn't know it was going to be changing its form. Happened. No, it happens. So you can either flow with all of it or you can clinch and you can fight the flow. But what I've seen, I'm a psychiatrist, and I've been in practice for many years. I'm on staff at UCLA and supervise psychiatric residents there and medical students. And I'm also an intuitive. So I combine all my traditional knowledge, which I love so much, and I'm so grateful for, because I went through 14 years of medical training, with intuition. And what that means is that I listen both with my mind and with my gut and my heart and my third eye or my inner sense. I listen with everything. So I just want to say to you that you have all those abilities. You have your mind up here, but you have other forms of perception that you can surrender to. So don't ever think you're just your mind, because that's what they tell you in the West anyways. Now, how many of you think you're just your mind? The woman back there, do you ever think that? She has a pretty haircut, the bangs, straight. You, no, this one. Yeah, you. No, not you, her. I'm sorry, it goes like this because it's a large group. You, do you ever just think you're your mind? Can you come up? No. No, I just want to hear what she has to say about this. Come next to me.
I think that sometimes because I can be really, I think sometimes I want a lobotomy. Because a lobotomy? Oh, sure, yeah. I said sometimes I want a lobotomy because I want to get rid of my feelings. I wish I didn't have my feelings. Yes. And I get better, and I do use all the tools that I have to become present, and and just it's miraculous, it leaves. But then it can happen again. It just happened again yesterday. And it can take me a few hours to get out of it. So I'm not real good at it yet, but it makes me feel like anyway, I don't like it. Even though I know truth, but I feel like I'm sort of an empath, but I'm an empath in a way where I hurt myself, and I've done it my whole life. So anyway, is that what you wanted to know?
In a way, but and all that is true, but what I wanted to address in you is your thinking and your thoughts and the amount of time you spend up here and your identification with that I'd like to just bring you up as an example, as somebody who could really benefit out of shifting to different levels of awareness, listening in different ways, and not just getting stuck in your mind. Yeah, I did notice. You're welcome. But that's how intuition works. And if any of you have questions about my process this afternoon, about what I'm doing, feel free to ask. Really, it's perfectly fine. But I'm listening to you with my mind and also my intuition. Sometimes when I talk about a topic, I'll suddenly be drawn to someone, and I'll know it's relevant to them. And that's a form my intuition takes when I'm suddenly drawn to something like that. It's just like a laser, went right to her. That she needed to hear this at this given moment. And that's usually what my intuition guides me towards in terms of health and healing. That's how I use it. That's my intention of using my intuition. It's to help people and help myself also. I mean, that's why I use it. I don't use it to go to the horse races or any of the other things that could be used. I don't use it for those purposes. Always, since the beginning, I've stayed very true to my purpose. And that's important because a lot of times people get involved with intuition and spirituality and deviate. And that's a different path. But my main spiritual practice is Taoism. And I've been blessed to have a spiritual teacher who's a Taoist for 25 years. And so I've been doing that practice for 25 years. And it's very profound and important to me. But part of that practice is staying true to the power of the heart, and not getting sucked into ego or all of that, because I would see that as a failure. I would see that as an issue for me to work with. And we all get caught by ego. I'm not saying that I don't. But it's a goal of mine to stay true to the heart. You see, it's very important to me, extremely important to me. And so for that reason, the way I use intuition and my intention that I set with it is for health and healing. And so I've stayed on track with that the whole time so far, which is really good. It always works out well. For those of you, I know there's some of you in healthcare here. How many of you work with others? Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I give you advice to stay on that track with that intention. Use your intuition for health and healing, and that's it. Oftentimes intuitives get very enamored with themselves because they'll have an intuitive hit and they'll be right. You know how exciting that is? It's exciting. I mean, I'm still excited. I'm very excited about that every time it happens, but don't ever get too impressed with yourself. That's a big mistake, I'm telling you. It's a big mistake. You're not that impressive. Nor am I. Nobody. We're not that. We know, in terms of comparing to God or spirit, we don't know very much. We're lucky if we get, some knowing. Or just consider yourself lucky and hold on to these precious jewels that you're going to learn today and in life. Hold on to those, beads of light, because they're very meaningful. But, just in the practice of intuition or in the daily routine of life, stay humble. It's a very powerful thing. That doesn't mean to have low self-esteem. That's different. People confuse low self-esteem with being humble, but it's not. Low self-esteem is not feeling highly about yourself, not appreciating yourself, not knowing your gifts. And humility is a powerful form of devotion, to spirit, to life, to honoring what is. Humility is a powerful, powerful process. I hope you surrender to. It's not weakness. When you see a humble person here, and let's say you see somebody over here, a real mover and shaker, a power person, maybe a greedy person who's, involved with all of that. You have the humble person. Energetically, when you read them, it's no contest. Now, for me, as an intuitive, meaning that the humble person who's truly practicing humility is a ball of light. Is a gorgeous, incredible energy you want to get near. Whereas the other one who's in the mind and wheeling and dealing and manipulating without heart. And I'm not saying that the wheelers and dealers can't have heart, but the ones that don't have heart, their energy is very constricted and uninteresting to me. It's very different. Energy is everything for me. What people say is one thing. What they give off and how they've developed themselves is shown by their energy field. And that's what I trust, is the person's energy and their actions. Energy and actions, people can say all kinds of things, but if you learn to surrender to your intuition, the still small voice inside that will tell you the truth about things, and you can read people. You're like an incredible reader of people. Do you know that? Well, how often are you wrong? Occasionally. Of course. No, of course. The more involved you are with people, the less clearly you can see them. Typically, unless you train yourself to get really neutral and to read people. But the more you're involved with anything, the more you're thrown off. But in general, you go into a room, you see the people that you're attracted to. I can feel it from you. Is that something you don't want to admit? Yeah. It's a great quality. It's really a great quality to have. So it's something to be proud of. That you can read people. But surrendering to your intuition, knowing that you're more than your mind. The mind is beautiful. You could be brilliant. This man here, brilliant mind, beautiful heart. He has both. He has a brilliant mind and a beautiful heart. And that's pretty amazing. And you have the mind-heart connection going. Very beautiful. And that's the goal of surrendering to me. Surrender is not defeat. It's not failure as the Western mind thinks it is. When I went on my book tour for this book, I was in New York City, with major television shows, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy. Why would I want to surrender? It's not in the vocabulary of the mainstream. It's just not. They look at surrender as defeat. I'm giving up. Why can't I be in control all the time? Why can't I just push and go for my dreams? What's wrong with that? They're understandable questions. Why should I let something go? And why should I ever let a resentment go? I'm right. Why should I let it go? No, but this is the thinking. This is the thinking. And among a lot of people, not in the spiritual community, not in the New Thought community, of course not, because we're taught something different, in terms of a spiritual way of life. But in terms of the general society, they're not that enticed with surrender. And so it requires some explanation, and they don't look at it as something that they really want because they don't get it. They don't understand how it's part of attuning to the universal flow of all of life and spirit, and how you can't control everything. It's impossible. And how the art of living is to know when you can exert control and when to back off and when to turn it over to your higher power and let things flow. You have to be multi-skilled in life. It can't just be, I'm going to set my intention and go out and make it happen. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. I've treated so many patients who have given their all to whatever they're doing, but they push beyond the point of no return. There's a time when you stop. Oh, you're all wrapped. There's a time when you... It's quite beautiful when I see that energy coming together like that. There's a time when you stop, when you're pushing. Let's say you have a child who is addicted to heroin and is out on the streets, and you've tried everything with that child, and you everything, nothing left to do. What do you do then? Surrender? You know how hard that is? To let go, let God at that moment? But what happens if you keep pushing? You keep pushing. Nothing works. You have to realize when you get to the point where your efforts are not the answer, that it requires a power higher than yourself to come in and intervene, that's when you have to turn over your actions. And most people don't know that in the mainstream. There comes a time for personal will, and I'm all for it. I'm all for going out and getting your dreams and exerting your, everything you've got to succeed in a goal. But I also know that to accomplish extreme success, you have to learn how to let go at the right moments and let go of so much. And I mean a lot. Let go of, let's say, the need to be right. This is a stumbling block in business, in relationships, where somebody is right. Let's say you're right. Your ex betrays you, and you feel betrayed and miserable and hurt, as you should. Of course you should feel that way. But 20 years later, do you want to still be talking about it? You have the right to talk about it, but do you want to be there? No. And why surrender the need to be right? Why surrender the resentments? Of course, to free yourself. So you're lighter. We're made of these flesh and blood bodies, and we're also made of energy fields. And the energy field is called prana, it's called shakti. It's the energy, the chi energy that traditional Chinese medical doctors talk about. It's the flow of energy in our bodies. Does anybody not know what I'm talking about? The woman in the glasses, it's very important you understand this. No, the one behind you. The one behind you. You. In the purple, right there. You. Yeah. Very important you understand this. That we're not just our bodies, that we're a flow of energy. And that if you want to change anything in your body or your mental state, you have to contact your energy level, the subtle energy too, not just physical. And that it's important if you, let's say, go to a traditional doctor and they offer you solutions, know that there are other options too for you. But it's important to get in touch with your own energy. All right, so we're made of flesh and blood bodies, but also energy. So people can be beautiful balls of light. You have so much energy in you that is just longing to be kindled in you. I see it. I'll have to take a match and just go for you to light your fire, as it's just longing to be lit. Can you relate to this at all? Say again? Yeah, good. But the energy field, have you ever had energy healing? Did you respond to it? Yeah, I think you'd be very responsive to that. All right, that's enough said for that. But we have our bodies that are made of flesh and blood, and we have our energy fields. And so throughout your life, you want to develop what's most positive in yourself, and you want to let go of what's negative or not needed. And resentments are very negative energy. All right? It's not that you don't deserve to have them. Of course you do. You can have as many as you want if you want them. And the ego wants them. The ego never wants to surrender. The ego wants to accumulate the resentments because you're right. But you see, that's one level of consciousness. And what I'm suggesting with the practice of surrender is that even though the ego wants that, there's a better way to be. And the better way to be is to come from the heart. And the heart wants to surrender the resentments. The heart wants to let go of whatever baggage you're carrying around in your energy field so you can be light and airy. As even if you have a mother who is just impossible, just a shrew or just impossible, how are you ever going to let go of that resentment? How are you ever going to let go of all the things she said to you? I'm saying that you can. And not only can you, it's a must. If you want to be free, if you want to be light, otherwise you get bogged down and depressed. But you want to let go. It's a constant purification process with surrendering. It's about going out and living life every day. Your spiritual practice is what's presented to you each day in life. That's what your spiritual practice is. If you ever want to find your purpose, it's just wake up and walk out the door. There are enough challenges. You don't have to create them. They're right there for you. Spiritual challenges. I look at everything in life as a psychiatrist. This is what I believe as a person, and this is the kind of therapy I practice where everything in life has a spiritual meaning. There's nothing that doesn't. I mean, man, really feel into that. There is nothing that you've gone through in your lives that isn't the perfect spiritual lesson for you, even though you don't want half of them, probably. Who would want half of what's thrown at you? But there it is. And part of surrendering is surrendering to that, is realizing that your spiritual path, if you want to be on a spiritual path, you really want to be on one, it's about, in 12-step programs, they talk about accepting life on life's terms. I mean, exactly on life's terms, not 99%, but 100%. This is what you're given. Now you're given this joy, you're given this sorrow, you're given, this period of health, you're given this injury, whatever you're given. This is so freeing if you can really practice this in your life, is that to look at everything as your spiritual work. I've had patients who come to me with terrible anxiety attacks, and they say, I wish I could be coming to you with something more spiritual than an anxiety attack. And that isn't how I look at it at all. I look at it, this is the most spiritual thing. You're being honest, you're being raw, you're being authentic. This is your challenge. This is it. This is it. And we'll work to heal that so you can have more release and more joy and more pleasure. But this is what's up for you. So that's it. I mean, how can you be excited about that? You think, an anxiety attack. You might as well be excited about it because that's what you're given. And no, but that is your spiritual challenge. And that's the surrender. And by surrender, I mean giving yourself wholly to something. It's not fighting, it's not clenching, it's not guarding, it's going fully with it. Not that you're going to succumb to the anxiety, but you're going to go on the healing path that the anxiety attack is taking you so you can learn from it. You see, so this is a really deep surrender. It's more of a philosophical surrender about everyday life. Now, how do you view life? Do you see yourself as a victim? Do you? Is that how you want to see yourself? Is there anybody who would like to see themselves that way? I mean, that's fine. I just want to know. No, some people feel they're victims. I mean, I believe that some people are victims, victims of horrendous crimes, victims of abuse. It's true. You're victims, but you don't want to stay in the victim mentality. You know, some things happen that are out of your control, that are unfair and horrific. You know, and in that sense, you are a victim of that. However, you're only an ongoing victim if you stay stuck in the mindset. And that's where surrender comes in. I mean, these are all very practical examples that happen every day. So I just, present these to you in the beginning as food for thought, what you want to let go of in your life and what you want to hold on to. What do you want to surrender? It's always good in the practice of surrender to take an inventory of your life and say, what is working in my life now that I love and what isn't that I would like to let go of now or in the future. Now really think about that. Really ponder your life and look at your life now, because it could be that you're given millions of lifetimes to work out whatever issues you need to work out. It could be that if you believe it in many lives. But I think it's useful to look at this life as being the quintessential teaching that you need in this moment, the most exciting thing that could ever happen to you, and it's limited, time-limited opportunity. All right? It comes, it goes. This is it. We're in the room together. This is the capital IT. This is it, this moment. No more searching. I mean, that's the thing. There's no more searching. This is it. This connection. And then the next moment, there will be something else. But whatever you're given, the surrender is to be compassionate with yourself and realize this is it. And try to let go of what's not working for you. The people, the energy vampires that are not working for you, the people who are draining, sucking your lifeblood out of you. There's a section in this book, Ecstasy of Surrender, and also in Emotional Freedom, about energy vampires, how to identify them and how to surrender them. And look at yourself and ask yourself, what in me is allowing me to have these people in my life if it's under my control to get rid of them? What about me goes back to that critical, abusive person? What about me that needs healing? It's not them. Don't worry about healing them. Worry about healing yourself. What about me can't set that boundary or say no? What about me who takes it so seriously when somebody gives an opinion of me? The opinions can just go in like knives. People have so many opinions about so many things, and they'll often offer them to you. I've told people to please withhold your opinions or comments about me. I'm not, I'm not interested in people doing that. But you have to be a little socially unconventional. And it's the way you say it. You have to say, if you want to surrender people, if you really want to have a mindful life, you really want to look at your life and say, what situations, what people do I really want in my life now? Because it is time limited. You never know what's going to happen. Life can turn on a dime. You're going this direction, bam, everything's changed. And you don't know if or when that's going to happen. And that's what makes it so exciting. You don't know, but given all those possibilities, it's your opportunity now to choose the right people and situations for you. And if they're not working, surrender them. If you have to keep the people because they're family members or whatever, learn. No, but it's a fact. You can't get rid of some of them. But they're your bodhisattvas. They keep poking you and you keep getting aggravated over and over and over, whatever they do to trigger you. But your spiritual challenge is to not be triggered. And your spiritual challenge is to set limits on abuse or criticism or opinions, whatever you don't want. You have to speak up. And if they don't honor that, then perhaps limit the time you spend with them. Don't sit at the Christmas table with them, next to them, sit at the opposite end of the table. But it's so important in terms of surrender to own your own power with people and to very nicely and respectfully say no to them, say no to behaviors, say no to opinions. If someone says, oh, honey, you look like you could lose a few pounds. No, you really, no, you really, that's not appropriate. As I had a mother who was a physician, and I come from a family of 25 physicians. Yeah, so I have a lot of physicians, and that often happens in some lineages where there are a lot of healers, a lot of physicians, a lot of hospice workers. They go in a line. But my mother was, very, very powerful, and she was very critical, and she would make comments about my appearance all the time. And as a young girl, it used to make me feel about 2 inches tall. Oh, you'd be so beautiful if you cut your hair. Or you'd be so beautiful if you dressed in Armani and not in holy jeans, whatever. She had her ideas about how she wanted me to be. So it sensitized me so that that's a trigger, people making opinions about me, which I've gotten so much better. The more I've developed my own womanhood, the less the opinions really matter to me, but I still don't like them. And I stop them. I'll just say, thank you, but I'd prefer you didn't make comments about my appearance or whatever. And people kind of look at you. They're not used to it. But, if they do it again, I'll just say, remember I mentioned that. So that's just how I lead my life. It's hard to get it out. It's hard to get those things out. But if you want, let's say you really care about someone, but there's something about them that is just not working for you in terms of how you interrelate, then you need to address that in the relationship. And if not, if it doesn't work, maybe you have, the friendship won't work. If I made that distinction and someone kept going and didn't honor my request, I would be very turned off. So you have to, in terms of surrender, you have to really assess your life, the people. Who do I want in my life? What aspects of somebody do I really love? Which aspects do we need to work on in the relationship? Just because somebody has one annoying quality doesn't mean you get rid of them. You can work with it, hopefully, and you can communicate. But surrender those that are toxic, abusive, not really serving a purpose. And be with those and surrender to those who are beautiful and positive and supportive and loving. And you can talk about your intuition with them without somebody being critical. And you can tell someone your dreams and just be yourself. You could be your authentic self. Do you know how liberating that is to be your authentic self and not have to be on or hide or guard? That's the kind of friendships. I talk about it in this book, Anamkara, soul friends. Soul friends. When you find soul friends who are basically unconditionally loving, and when you meet them, it's like a deja vu. You feel like you've known them before. You feel kindred spirits. You feel like you're resuming a friendship with someone that you hadn't met perhaps in this life yet, but then you're off and running with the friendship or the romance or whatever it is, the love relationship, and you can trust that sense of knowing. And so the surrendering is a lot to intuition. And it's not just surrendering the bad, it's surrendering to the good, and not holding back when you have love in front of you. You've been searching for love all your life, and then it comes. Then what do you do? It's an interesting. Because then you're so used to not getting what you want, or this one didn't do this, then here's somebody who's loving. What do you do? What do you do? Oh, and love is facing you in the eyes. What do you do? Well, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about work. She's on work. Well, okay, that's the past, but I'm asking you about the present. What do you do when love is looking at you in the eyes? Okay, hold on. I'm bringing this up for a reason. And the reason is that you may be confronted with this. I'm spelling it out for you. And how could you open up then? You meditate on what the blocks you put up to love, how you push people away, how you get scared. Say that. I would. That is. As if you're in a position where there's a beautiful person looking at you to give you love, you want to be in a position to receive that. No, not at the moment. Prepare yourself. It's taking a little while to get in. I'm just saying, stay alert. But whatever happened in the past that made you push them away, you spend some time now working on that and healing that so it doesn't happen again. Okay. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. You don't want to miss the opportunity. You really don't. Our time is all limited. Don't let 77 stop you. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with soul connections. And when soul connections come along, value them. Surrender to them. Don't push them away. In this surrender book, you have it sitting on your lap. Go to the section on soulmates, soul friends, and animal companions. Okay? Animals are easier for you. I know. That's right. I know. That's right. That same love you can give to a human. I know. I understand that. But go to that chapter and look on the patterns that keep you from loving and read those and see if you identify with any of them and try and let them go. So that when you see the eyes, you're going to see the eyes of somebody and you're going to get something very positive from that. Yeah, you want to go with it. Yeah. So now prepare. Okay. Sometimes you have to say things like a few times. Isn't that funny? All right. All right, I'd like to just ask you some questions to determine how surrendered you are at this moment. Would you like to know that? Yes. How many of you feel like you're practicing surrender in your life now? Practice letting go of old habits. Yeah. Pardon? Oh, okay. All right, great. Great. All right, everyone hear that? When you ask a question, you get to come up here. Don't let that deter you. Really, don't. Just try and let it go. Because we want to hear what you have to say. Or they could use this mic. Oh, okay. Oh, you could run the mic. Oh, okay. All right. All right, let's go through the quiz of how surrendered you are. And surrender, how many people have been actively working on the practice of surrender in their lives? Oh, a lot of you. Is that an ongoing practice, part of your spiritual development? Great. Let go, let God. Okay. And how many of you are not? It's fine if you're not. I don't care. I just want to know. Everyone in here is working on surrender. Working. You're not? You have been forced to deal with it and it's working. She's succeeding at it. Yeah, very much so. All right, great. Did you want to ask a question? Oh, you're here to take a mic around. Okay. Nice to see you. All right. You can answer mostly true or mostly untrue. I recognize I cannot control everything. How many of you feel that way? Mostly true. How many of you feel like you can or want to control everything? You do? You want to, but you can't. Okay. Who would feels they can? Honestly, who feels that if you exert all your good efforts that you can control everything? The man in the back, do you believe that? No? Are you sure? You're sure? What percentage sure are you? I'm sorry? You control nothing. Can you come up here? Come up for a second, please. Come. He's looking at all the rows. He's coming up. Hi. Come. Come, hold my hand. Nice to meet you too. Can you tell me about that? You control nothing?
I've come to realize that I'm one of the surrenderers. I don't know why you picked me out, but I'm one of the guys who gets to understand that things happen and I really can't control it. So the more I surrender, the more peaceful I am. And the more I surrender, more often than not, it always works out the way I sort of expected it to or wanted it to.
How long have you been doing that? Couple years. How about before that?
I tried to force things, and that's how I learned. Because when I would force it, I could keep it going only as long as I was involved in making it happen. And then when I let go, it fell apart. So that was a tough one.
You all know what he's talking about? Yeah. All right, that's powerful. And that was your turning point?
One of them. Yes. It happened in so many areas. So yeah. That's like life and family and stuff, you know. When I tried to keep something together, and then when I stopped trying, it fell apart. And then when I surrendered, that wasn't, you know, really available to me anymore. But I was okay, peaceful. And then I get to come up here and talk to you about it.
And now when you're in a relationship, can it be 50-50 in terms of holding it together? Okay, good. Very important. Yeah, don't try to hold up the sinking ship. Okay. That's a really good example where you just try, and then it falls apart if you're not trying to lift every brick. And the same with relationships. The relationships are, you know, 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, situation you're in. Relationships, it's about everybody putting in their all to hold it together, not just one person. You can't control everything, and you can't control other people. You can't control other people. Yeah, After I've done what's possible to make things happen or change a situation, I can let go and accept life without fighting it. How many yes? I'll read it again. After I've done what's possible to make things happen or change a situation, I can let go and accept life without fighting it. Without fighting it. Okay, this is an issue. There's fighters here. When something happens that you didn't particularly want, you fight it. Is that what's happening in this group? So your hands aren't up. What? What's the confusion? After I've done what's possible to make things happen, but change a situation, I can let go and accept the outcome without fighting.
It really makes it better if we can hear you because it's being live streamed.
She wants you to speak on her behalf? Wait. You get up, please.
Well, we've been dealing with the situation over a period of about 4 years where we get clear on it and then it comes back up again.
Sure. And what's the question in relationship to this? Are you able to accept the outcome once you've given it your all?
Well, that's the whole thing of it is that the outcome continues to just kind of be out there. I mean, it's a moving, permeable thing. It's not. The outcome of that is there is no final outcome.
Is this with regard to another person?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you accept that?
No, I would like it to get clear. I would like there to be clarity, and that I would like there to be when you live with someone who's in their head a lot and they can't connect their heart and their head, it can get really uncomfortable at times.
Is this a family member?
No, it's his ex-wife.
His ex-wife?
Or his wife that he hasn't lived with for 7 years. So.
And why is it necessary to communicate with her?
It's not necessary to communicate with her, but she's definitely there and won't, keeps telling him that you're going to come back to me. And so that's like hanging over the head of our relationship, which I had no idea that it wouldn't be finished. And it was what we just talked about, where she's, I can't articulate it all, but where there is someone that's trying to control the situation and hold it together. She's trying to hold it together.
With him?
Yes.
But it's up to him to let go.
He has let go. He just hasn't, she hasn't accepted the let go.
That's her problem then.
But it's affecting our relationship.
Only if you let it. Great. Great. There probably won't be much of a conclusion because she'll keep it up. But it's up to you to set limits with hearing anything about it. Are you done with her? No? There was a pause. You have to work with that. This is for you. I see why you wanted to get up. Yeah, this is for you, but this is about surrender. And what do? How do you set limits with somebody? But you have to make a decision. You have to be clear. And that's the issue, is him. It's not her. She could, yeah. But it's up to you to look back for a while and remember what it was like with her. Really meditate on that. Yeah, really meditate. You're going to get more of the same. Nothing's going to change with that in terms of fantasies that you might have. That's it. That's your life. That's it. It's up to you, not up to her. It's you. Yeah, but just know you're not getting anything different than you've already got from the other one. It's like sometimes letting go is very hard. I understand that. Sometimes really letting go of people who you hoped would be a certain way, or you saw promise with the relationship, and you keep hoping against hope it's going to change and they're going to be different. And then you pull out of the relationship and here they are all bright and happy again in their best selves saying, I'm going to make it work this time. I'm going to be different, but really nothing has changed. And you just spend another 6 months going through the same thing and nothing has changed. And that pattern. Sometimes surrender means moving forward and not looking back. And there's a ritual, a shamanic ritual that I talk about in the book, and I actually used myself for a relationship I had a couple years ago, where the shaman told me to let go of the relationship fully. I needed to go out in nature and get a big stick and look at the stick, break the stick in half, and leave both pieces out in nature, turn around, don't look back, and keep moving. Where you break it, the stick, you break it. Can you feel the power of that? I get chills just talking about it. That you break the stick entirely and you don't look back. No other approach, no looking back will work in certain cases. No. It's called compassionate closure, honorable closure. No calls, no emails. Break the stick, move forward cleanly. And if you're not ready, don't do it. But not doing it has repercussions as well. So those are your choices. But all I can say is it worked beautifully with me, and I was, intensely attached to this other person. But it helped me more than any talking. I'm very ritual oriented, and I find that that's a really wonderful way to surrender and let go of things. And nature, I'm very connected to nature. So if I go out in nature and I make a pact with nature and I break the stick and I walk, it has deep resonance in my being. So it really works for me. Thank you, both of you. That was brave. Yeah. I like your hand. I like where your hand is. That's nice. All right, I don't try to force things when a door is shut. How many of you can say you do that mostly? Oh, wonderful. How many of you are forcers, like when you had spoken about? How many of you like to force things? You do back there? Does that work for you? No, back there. Beautiful woman with the glasses. Not yet. Are you still doing it? If she's not awake, can you run to her, please? Okay, sure. Yeah, no problem. Wait, here she is.
If I'm not awake, that's my first impulse is to try to make it work, force it. You want to talk to me? I'm going to get in your face and we're going to fix this. We're going to settle this out, to somebody who doesn't really want to talk at all. And so far it hasn't worked, but I'm ever hopeful.
Would you like it if I did that with you?
I probably would actually talk with you.
You would talk to me?
Yeah.
If I was in your face?
Probably I would, yeah. I probably wouldn't resist getting to the heart of something and getting it resolved.
You would resist it?
I would not.
You would not resist it. So you prefer that style of in your face confrontation.
Let's settle this. Let's figure this out and do it together. Instead of, what problem? I'm not here. I can't. Instead of the avoiding thing.
You're trying to force an avoider to be present?
That's so far. I invited him to come today, but he had stuff to do.
He's a very nice man.
He's a great man. He's a very nice man.
Can you not accept his wonderful qualities?
I'm working on it.
Let him avoid.
He is avoiding. I'm letting him avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let him, but you're, waiting for your chance to use this technique again.
Yeah. Right. I see that. I do that.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man. You enjoy him.
I do.
But, a way to help him, which is not the way you're doing, you get him to do a little yoga, a little body-centered movement.
Oh, I get him to do a little yoga.
Oh, he won't do
Okay.
anything?
How would I do that?
Okay. All right.
I would love to do that.
Okay. Is he not body-oriented at all?
He's very body oriented. He's not oriented to my suggestions.
What is he oriented to then? What will he do?
Not hear me.
What body exercises will he do?
His work.
What's his work?
He does a lot of outdoor physical work, landscaping and outside working things. So he doesn't think of it as exercise. When I talk about that, like, let's go take a walk. Well, my hip hurts because I've been working a lot this week. And he does work hard. And he's hurting a lot of ways. I just can't make it better for him. I'm not good at helping him get better.
No, but you can be very romantic with him.
I'll have to work on that.
I think that would work better. I see you out wherever he's working with you putting your arms around him and putting his arms out, stretching him by hugging and looking at the sky and being very sensual with him and being,
I do things like that.
do it more.
Yeah, do it more.
He would like it.
I'll trust you and try that.
Good. Good. And sometimes you can't change people. They have to change themselves. My mother was intent on changing my father. Intent. And she never gave up 45 years of marriage. She still did it. And from my vantage point, watching her criticize him or an area that he wasn't, you're not social enough. You watch too much TV. You're this, you're that, get out more, whatever she was doing. And I watched that. It was very painful to watch. And I said, how come you keep trying to change him, after all these years? And she said, how else will he change? It never worked. All those years, she was still adamant like you. If only I could just use my same approach, I'll get him to change. He never changed. The beauty of surrendering in relationships is if you decide to be with somebody that the package is good enough, you like basically the package there, and there's going to be some parts that are just not going to change, and to be able to just accept that person as they are, as is, but the basic is good. The basic, overall is fine, but there are things that, you have to deal with. So, and sometimes there might be, like the man I'm with sometimes eats a lot of sugar. And it really, drives me crazy that he pops sugar in his mouth. It's just horrifying to me. It's horrible. I mean, all kinds of things. His health, his energy gets too hyper. It's not good for him. And it's not the proper way to eat. So that's all going on in my mind. But I can't change it. If he wants to, eat sugar, I can't change that. He has to want to stop eating sugar. Just a button for me. That's my particular button. Or someone was to eat a lot of, fast food, that would be very horrifying to me, because it's so horrible for you. But, when you see somebody that you love eating food that isn't healthy. So, but you can't change. The person has to change. And always the rule is you can mention it once, and after that, no. That's it. Just mention it once. Why are you looking at her? Oh no? Did someone say, oh no? But that means, letting go of the desire to change people, even though you might be right, even though you might know what's best for them. You probably do know what's best for them, but that's not the point. The point is, what do you want in relationships? Do you want a loving relationship? Do you want a relationship where you can accept others and their flaws? And I don't mean a big, dark part of them, like if someone is a raging alcoholic, just to bring it up once, no. But on the other hand, you can't make them get sober, but you don't want to just bring it up once and let it go. Or if someone is abusive verbally or physically, you don't ever want to accept that. Never. Never. All right, that's never acceptable. Always to set a limit on that. If anybody doesn't talk to you in the proper way, with lots of respect, or love, if somebody ever hits you or is violent with you, no. That's the time to say no. No debating it. There's no debating it. It's gone over a line. It's too much. Let it go. I mean, I feel very strongly about that. How do you all feel about that? Do you agree with me? You think you need to give them more chances? Okay. Yeah. Good. Somebody. Oh, she's up.
I'm past the situation. This was my issue. When that happens and there's a line crossed, and then I have to take the responsibility and leave, because if they're not going to change, because there's no problem for them, I have to leave. Then it's my move.
Right.
That's the part that I had to figure out the hard way.
Yeah. That's true. Life is too short. You want to surrender and be around people who are positive, loving, supportive, and fun. You want to have a good time in this life. Now, you don't want to be overly serious. It's a curse being overly serious. There's so many things to worry about. And the to-do list is never ending. The things to do, to get done, all of that. That's just part of everyday life. It's never ending, but it's up to you to make the time, to meditate, to go to the park, to go to the beach. I've used to work with the dying for a number of years, or I helped a number of people go to the other side. And on their deathbed, and I've been with them as they've made the transition, and they never say, I wish I would have worked more. I wish I would have got more done. I wish I would have had more money. They never, ever say that. Never. I've never heard anyone say that. They always say, I wish I would have been with my grandchildren more. I wish I would have lived a life more for myself than my mother, or my father. I wish I would have just taken that risk, and followed my heart. That's what they say. They all say that. And they all want to go in nature. A lot of them want to spend more time in nature. I hear that. I wish I would have gone camping more. Or spent more time in the trees. The woman with the glasses there in the edge row, the edge of the row. Nature, yeah. Go out in nature. Don't stop yourself. Go hiking. Take it. Will you go? When was the last time you went hiking?
I actually went 2 weeks ago with my husband, Laguna Niguel Regional Park. We did.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
So, and I know that really does center me.
Yeah, it really centers you. So you continue to do that out on the earth, and barefoot too.
I've been told that's what I need. I'm upper chakras. I need the grounding with the lower. So I do need that grounding.
Now, you have great shoes, though. I really admire your shoes you go out hiking with.
Oh, okay. I don't have hiking shoes. They're just...
What do you hike in?
They're just sneakers that I'm going. I'm not hiking up mountains. I'm just... Okay, but shoes. Okay, maybe I need hiking shoes.
I see a pair of shoes. Maybe you do, like a really sturdy pair of boots to go hiking in, or something very sturdy and expensive.
Okay, I can do that.
No, really, I think For you, I think that would be a good thing.
Oh, that's
Very
beautiful.
sturdy, make you more serious about the endeavor.
Right. Okay. I understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. I am comfortable with uncertainty. How many of you are? Ooh, very nice. You? Who is comfortable with uncertainty? Oh. You too? Interesting. Who else is comfortable? You are. Nice. Nice. Who isn't? Do you want everything tied up in a little box so you know what's going to happen? All right. That isn't what life is like. And so often in jobs or relationships where there's a difficulty, you have to let the process work out itself rather than forcing an outcome. I know you want to force an outcome. You want to know what's going to happen with your friend. You want them to do whatever. But you sometimes can't. Sometimes the success that I've seen in relationships and the great love that I've seen come forth between people is when you can just take some breathing room and let God work on the relationship. As part of surrender, a huge part is surrendering over to a higher power and surrendering your ego and surrendering your will or willfulness, that you can do as much as you can, but then you stop and you turn it over and you pray. You pray for help. You ask for your higher power to somehow, some way intervene in the most impossible situations. You pray. Prayer is a very powerful part of surrender, where you get to that point where nothing else is there but you and prayer. You just close your eyes and you're longing for that help and connection and connecting and making the connection. So you want to turn a lot over to your higher power. You want to know the balance of when to do the footwork and move forward and when to turn it over and say, I can do no more at this point. My efforts are futile. I do not know what the answer is. I wish I did. There's nothing I can do to change anything. I turn it over to you. Please help me. That deeply ecstatic prayer of please help me. And feeling from your heart that reaching out. Really in sincerity, that you feel in your heart, I don't know what I'm doing, help me. I can't tell you how powerful that surrender prayer is. But you have to get to the point where you let go of it. Do you know what I mean? It's that magical point where you're stopping trying to figure out the answer. All right, this is really important. You've stopped. You put a halt to figuring out the answer. And just turning it over, and then you wait. The woman with the blonde hair back there, I can't tell you how useful this would be for you. Do you practice it? Wait, he's going to pass it down. This would be so wonderful for you to practice. To just turn it over, stop trying to figure all these things out. You've put in overtime on a lot of these issues. No, just turn it over and wait for the magic. You see, this is where the magic happens, where you can turn something over and then something else happens. And it might not happen that very second, but you turn it over and you wait. And with all your heart, though, I want you to give all your heart to this and not hold anything back. Just be passionate, totally passionate, with you and your connection to spirit.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
And the animals in nature.
No, hold it up.
Everything you're saying is exactly animals in nature. Nature and, everything what you're saying, you're taking the words.
Yeah.
It's healing.
Yeah. And tears are so beautiful. Tears are so healing. It's a form of surrender, of the body's physical surrender. To cry, just cry. I love it when I can cry. And in a group, this is beautiful. Your tears just bring me such joy. Thank you. But to live with the uncertainty sometimes, it's the person right there between the two orange, the one behind. There's a V of orange and then you. Yeah. Yeah, to live with the uncertainty. You're such a diligent, earnest person. You're so diligent and earnest, and she does everything that's required. She really does. But then you've got to let it go. I know it doesn't all come from your own effort. Do you have a question for me?
No, I don't. That's kind of where I'm at.
And are you doing any thinking about your female relatives?
I mean, I have a lot of them.
You have a lot of them. Have you been doing anything? Where are they?
Most of them are local.
Local? You have nothing in Eastern Europe?
Well, my mom is of Polish descent.
And where is your mom?
She's in Laguna Beach.
In where?
Laguna Beach.
Oh, she's here.
She's here, yeah.
Who's in Poland?
Nobody that I know of.
Nobody that you know?
Not that I know of. I mean, probably distant relatives. But
Distant relatives. I encourage you at some point to take a trip there.
I have been there.
Good. Have you looked up your lineage?
Not recently.
Who's talking? Who's talking to me? You? Who?
Me.
Right. Oh, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some
So-
missing piece for you with your female relatives. There's some healing in the chain there.
Mm-hmm. Could you be more specific?
Mother, aunts, that close.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that some healing is needed with my mother, but I'm not quite sure
Right.
how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That I suggest to be your meditation. It's undone business.
Yeah, it's not a fun one.
No, it's not fun, but it's undone.
Right.
It would help you to have another round with this.
Can't you give me a different assignment?
What is she? Is up for you right now. Does that resonate?
It does, but it's just one of those ones that I've sort of surrendered for the moment.
I know, but you've grown a certain amount since that last time. And there's something there for you in terms of your own empowerment, so you don't disempower yourself around her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need to see that. Your mother
Yeah,
is
it's tough.
formidable,
Yeah,
but it's very formidable.
she's very formidable.
Very formidable.
Yes.
I can feel. Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to be easy, but you're up for it. Yeah, she's something else, isn't she?
Yeah. So it's sort of like a brick wall. So I just kind of backed away from it.
Yeah, I see why. I see
Yeah.
why. But I would go, don't get too close.
Yeah,
Don't keep your distance from her.
that's usually what I do.
Would she be willing to?
Would she be willing to? What? Keep her distance?
No, talk to you.
Mm. That hasn't been my perception. So,
Don't be scared of her.
I,
Don't let fear motivate you. The lesson, as far as I can see it, is your own empowerment with your mother. You look at her as more powerful and that she could demolish you.
yeah,
And
that's sort of been
she
the
could.
pattern.
She could, but she won't.
Mhm.
You're at a point now, I would not suggest it if I didn't think you had the resources to move it along so it's a little bit further
Mhm.
than it's been. Do you know her mother?
She does.
Yeah. Well, use her as a support.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very sweetness, not a sweetness.
Maybe she can talked
Mhm.
to her for me.
Okay. Okay.
No, I appreciate what you're saying.
See, what's
Not
so
great.
fascinating, about people is each person has their different surrender. Each person has their different lesson. If you look at, the people that have spoken, each one, it's so poignant, it's so powerful, and it's challenging. Everything that she presented with her friend who does the work in the backyard, that's a challenge. She's a mover and a shaker. Really. She's a mover and a shaker. And he's not that way. That's not his way. He's a little different. But you're attracted to him because he's a little different. You like a little different. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You tend to be hard on people, though, and hard on yourself. Give him a break. He's a nice man. He complains, but you help him along with your sensuality. He'll like that. I remember, are you still talking?
I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you. Okay, good. I remember to exhale during stress. Everybody just take one big deep breath now. Let it go. It's a very beautiful thing to exhale and not hold it in. You don't want to hold things in. Charlie? Where are you at? You were what?
Daydreaming.
I know you were.
Yeah, I was daydreaming. I already exhaled and let it out, and then I went somewhere else.
Where did you go?
No, I can't remember where I went.
Do you practice trance?
Do I practice trance? I think I practice more contemplation than, I would call it contemplation, than trance.
You have your place where you go.
Sure.
Have you read Edgar Cayce?
Yeah.
Do you identify with him?
I like his work, and I've been to the foundation, and I appreciate what he's done. I don't see myself like a Edgar Cayce.
I'm feeling some similarities. And
Well, I do share my dreams.
You
I
do
mean,
share
he got a lot of his work through his dreams.
Right.
Yeah, he got a lot of information.
You
And
too.
I'm sure that throughout the years that if I've gone to bed with a problem, I'll often wake up with a solution. So in that regard, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he was the sleeping prophet.
Right.
He got his prescriptions for others and his solutions through his dreams, through sleep.
Yes. He was very good at it.
He was very good at it, but so are you. As I saw where you went.
Where did I go? Because I forgot.
It's a very deep, beautiful place that you go to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've been going there since you've been a boy. Well, pay attention to it. It's a very beautiful place, and the answers come from it.
Thank you. I worked with a shaman in Mexico for some time. And one of my dreams took me up on an elevator that went up high and then came back down into a crowd of people. And essentially what she was helping me interpret that is that you go up in a higher level of consciousness You get what you need, and then you bring it down and you feed it to those that might benefit from it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you share your wisdom with others?
I've done a lot of healing work in the past. I haven't done much lately. No.
I would share it.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. I feel successful apart from my job or my self-worth or net worth, sorry. I feel successful apart from my job or net worth. This is a huge one, huge in Western culture. How many of you raised your hand? Just a few. To feel successful, do you need to have a certain net worth? Is that your belief? But only a few raised your hand that you weren't hooked into that. This is very deep in our culture, where people associate their job and their net worth with their self-worth. If you had very little money, would you feel worthwhile? Yeah? Oh, good. Good. Because your money will be taken away from you in the end. You better feel good about yourself. This is a delusion in our society. I always encourage people to surrender, and I talk a lot about it, in the book, because I in my practice I have so many people who work in the film industry and in Hollywood, and they connect their self-worth with their job, the amount of money they make. If they're not working, they're not good. If they're, and that it's a trap, and it's easy to get into. It's not that you don't look for success or that you don't really seek all the success that you desire, but it just means that if it was taken away from you, it'd still be okay with yourself, basically. And that it's not you. You're not your brain. You're not just your mind, as we talked about earlier. You're your mind, your intuition, your heart, your body, so much more. And you're certainly not your bank account. If that was wiped out, it's wiped out. Then you start over again, or you do what you have to do, but it doesn't determine your power. It shouldn't. So it's something to deal with, and particularly as you age, you see that more clearly. When people are just starting out and they're all eager, they want to make a lot of money, as they think it will make them feel good about themselves. And it may, it really does. Some of these things really, you put in hard work and it pays off. There's great feeling. But what I'm talking about is more than that. I'm talking about where you equate your self-worth with something outside, whether it's a relationship. Oh, I could get into relationships with you very easily. It's a very important topic that you get clear about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really. What are your desires for a relationship?
Yes.
What are they?
I would like relationship.
You would?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. I'm conflicted, yeah.
You what?
I'm conflicted on it, sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
you are. All right, that conflict that you have, I don't want to get into it.
Good.
Yeah, no, I know, I won't get into it, but it's very good for you to contemplate privately. It's really important to get clear on this point. And then go for it after you get clear.
Thank you.
Whatever direction you choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you all feeling like you need a break? Would you like to keep going or have a break? We have a bit over an hour left. Just let me know what you want. I could keep going. Quick break. All right, quick bathroom break. Okay. All right, let's come back within 10 minutes. Okay. Well, come next year.
asking for the university.
Have you been? All right, everyone. I just want to tell you that there's a sheet on your seat about a workshop I'm giving at Esalen Institute next year. And I don't do a lot of weekend workshops, but it's a weekend workshop in July in Big Sur, California. And it's the most beautiful place in the world to develop intuition and your inner voice. You like Esalen? Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's right on the cliffs. So you have the ocean and you have sea lions barking, you have nature. There's a garden, it's full of incredible flowers and food, incredible food that you eat that's natural. There are hot springs on the edge of cliffs overlooking the ocean. And it's just magnificent. If you want to go deeper, it's one thing to do a workshop in the city, and it's another thing to actually go on a retreat and go to a beautiful place where nature sustains you and you're open. You know what I'm talking about, Heather. Yeah. So it's next July. It seems like it's a long way off, but time goes. How many days and how much? Who said that? Bottom line. It's Friday. It's Friday through Sunday, and there are different sleeping arrangements. So that would determine the fee. Like if you wanted to sleep in sleeping bags, that's one thing. If you want, a single room, overlooking the ocean, that's another thing. So, either one, whatever you want to do is fine with, I don't know. It's like a few $100s, something like that, to above that for the accommodations. So something like that. But I would call Esalen and find out that there's a range. And for those who can't afford it, you can trade, I think, working in the kitchen during the weekend if you want to, work study. You want to do that, I would ask them about that. But it's really a spectacular place. And I look forward every year to going. I think it's July 26th weekend. No, but it seems like it's far away, but really, how time goes by so quickly. And someone says they've thought about it every year, going to Big Sur and going to Esalen. And maybe this will be the year for you. And also for those who want to reach me, my website is drjudithorloff.com. I have a website and I have free articles and videos. Did you hear that? Oh. No, but it was a particular hum. I'm very sensitive to noise, and I'm sound sensitive, so I can feel different vibrations. Did that get your attention too? What was it? I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a lot of sensitivities. Yeah. So, the website has all kinds of free things for you. And somebody had mentioned they saw Dave mentioned he saw my video with Ram Dass that I did last year. And it's my most favorite video I've ever made, where I went over to Maui and he interviewed me for a podcast and we filmed it. And it's really a good interview. If you go on my site, you can watch it. He's had a stroke and he has aphasia. So it's a very slow moving interview. It's the opposite of sound bites, very slow moving, but really worth watching. He's so full of love, and I was so full of sharing love with him that it comes across. It's a very special sharing. You can watch it there. Yeah, he's an incredible teacher. Do you all know who he is? Anyone who doesn't? Oh, okay, good. And he deserves to be known and remembered forever. Yeah, because his health is tenuous. You never know about what's going to happen. Yeah. So, and then, there's my mailing list for my newsletter is being passed around if you want to sign up with your email address. I think Michael's passing that around. Okay. All right, so for our final hour, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about what you would like to surrender and then create a meditation to help you do it. So we can do a group meditation. But how many of you have thoughts or beliefs you want to surrender that aren't working for you? Can you think of one? Can somebody have a microphone as this is happening? Yeah, right here. Here.
Yeah, letting go and terminating a relationship in a peaceful, gentle way has been difficult for me. And
with the
that's what I'm
ex-wife?
working on. Yes. Yeah.
You want to surrender the ex-wife?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Heather?
I really want to surrender worry about my sister. And so when you felt the energy, it wasn't just coming from them, but that wasn't, and I'd like to surrender worry about money.
Oh, beautiful. All right, anybody else? Right there.
Sorry. I'd like to surrender my concern about my granddaughter who's a heroin addict, having problems.
Right here.
I'd like to surrender my concern about my daughter who is also a drug addict and alcohol.
Okay. Anyone in this vicinity here? Oh, right here, right next. Oh, would you like to share? Okay.
I'd like to surrender my fear of the unknown.
And I just want to point out, when other people express what they want to surrender, it's collective. We all have the same things. We're all human. We're made the same way. But just notice what the priorities are for each person. That's beautiful. The fear of the unknown. Okay,
I'd like to surrender. I'm here. Here. I'd like to surrender the fear of opening to love again.
Of what? Of
opening to love again.
Are you ready?
I'm getting closer, I think.
Okay, but you like to surrender the fear.
I'm still fearful.
Yeah.
Yeah. To open up again.
Can I say something right there just for a
sure.
moment? Back. Go hiking and find a stone and hold it. Just hold it. I just think somehow that's going to help you with this fear. And
it's funny because I've had quite a bit of connection with stones lately. I'm so intrigued. And every time connection with stones, and I'm so intrigued with them.
Yeah.
And I walk on the beach, and
right.
But I can't make a connection of what I could get from it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Exactly. Yes. Just find one. Don't find more than one.
Okay.
One, but bring it home and hold it.
Okay.
It'll somehow help. I don't know how, but it will.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. What would you like to surrender?
She was had her hand up first, and then I'm just working.
Okay. You're working your way down. Okay.
I like to surrender letting go of relationships that no longer work.
Excellent.
And I would like to surrender letting go of, I would like to surrender the thought or the fear of feeling that I'm not going to be okay once I surrender that relationship.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'd like to surrender the fear of my surgery, the fears around doctors, and the surgery that I'm going to be having.
Is the surgery past or future?
Future, for shoulder.
Okay, and when is it?
Well, it's not set yet, but
Not set,
I have
okay.
a lot of.
Got it, okay. All right, anyone else to share what you'd like to surrender? And really, after you share it, really sit with it and hold it and own it. It's a powerful thing to want to let that go. Yeah.
I'd like to surrender my fear of a lawsuit and I guess my attachments to money, house, things, I guess.
Nice. Okay. He's working his way through. Okay. There's a person.
I'd like to surrender the pain body.
The pain?
Pain body.
The whole pain body. Wow.
I'd like to surrender the fear of ill health.
Fear of ill health. Okay.
I would like to surrender the fear of worry. I always worry.
I liked what the the lady on the end over there said about love, being open, surrendering the fear of. I blocked it out already. What did she say? That, whatever it was, that.
Her fear of being open again to love. That's you?
Did
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have deep resentments, but I do have some resentments that I would like to release.
I want to let go of the fear that I have of my husband's illnesses and having to take care of him.
Anyone else would like to surrender something deepest from your heart?
I would just say fear in whatever form that is. Self-sabotaging behaviors, unworthiness.
I see a hand in the back. Oh, okay, someone there.
I'd like to surrender thinking that I'm unlovable.
These are all prayers, by the way.
Yeah. I want to surrender also knowing that I'm going to be able to be the help for my son when he is released, and because I'm the one that's going to be there for him to help him rebuild. I may have to move.
I want to surrender the fear that I have after being laid off from a career for 13 years that I'll be able to find another suitable career.
I want to surrender fear and worry.
I want to surrender the attachment to outcomes.
I want to surrender self-limiting thoughts.
I want to surrender the worry I have about for my son who's 43 and is living in the second year living in his car.
Would this man like to share? What would you like to surrender? You.
You caught me on.
I did. Anything.
I'd like to surrender the fear of being judged and performance anxiety.
Right there.
I'd like to surrender the control I want to have over my illness.
I'd like to surrender to moving forward and not look back.
Moving forward and not looking back. Okay. Very good. And for those of you who didn't articulate it, you can ask for it inwardly. If you want to let go of something that's bogging you down, or you want to let go into something, you want to let go into love, you want to let go into success, and surrender into that area, or surrender into joy. That's the opposite surrender, to let yourself savor things, slowing down time, savoring. More than one way? Oh, yes, but not right now. For the purposes of this healing meditation, I'd like to focus just on one to help you release that, to help you get your prayer and your wish. As there was sincerity, everybody who spoke, there was such sincerity and power in your request. Are you ready to let it go after you voiced it? Okay, if everyone could close your eyes. Put your feet on the ground, uncross your legs. Nice. All right, and take a few deep breaths. Focus on your in-breath and your out-breath. Relaxing your body, no tension, just relaxing the body, the muscles in your shoulders, your back. Just feeling your body relax, all the tension flowing from it. No holding of tension, just relaxing and opening to the flow of energy and goodness and light that's in this room. And for a few seconds, I'd like you to focus on your heart, which is in the middle of your chest, the heart chakra, the center for unconditional love. The part of you that loves yourself unconditionally, that knows you deserve love, respect, joy. The part of you that does not judge or criticize. And to focus on that sense of love and to feel it in your heart or in parts of your body. Tremendous sense of love building, pulsating. You can breathe into it, relaxing the body. You can focus on a beautiful flower or an ocean, or any image that you love, is to feel that sense of boundless love, feeling spirit and the universe, how large that love is, how it's within you and surrounding you and holding you and always there. Always there, caring for you, protecting you. And breathe into that sense of loving kindness and let it permeate your entire body and your being. Letting it flow, not holding back. Opening your heart to love, to trust, to faith in spirit and yourself. And then inwardly say to yourself your surrender. I surrender fear. I surrender worry. Whatever your surrender may be, to speak that inwardly as you're feeling the sense of love. And you can say it once, twice, 3 times. Say it with all your heart inwardly. And give that fear, that worry, that concern to Spirit, to love. Entrust it to love. Let it go. Feel it leaving your body, your energy field, your consciousness. It's not yours anymore. You turn it over to Spirit, to love. It's in the best possible hands. Nothing more for you to do about it, other than breathe it out, surrender it completely, knowing that all will be well and that you can let this go. That you can make room for all that is good and beautiful and loving in your life. Let the fear go. Let the resentment go. Let the concern for a loved one go to the hands of God, to the hands of Spirit. And trust that your surrender prayer is heard, and you can feel it heard. You can feel it accepted by the universe. As you turn over control of this particular thing and feel held by the arms of Spirit and love. And to just sit here for a few moments in trust, in faith, feeling the power of the heart above all else. It's bigger than your fears, your worries. It's the power within you. You're given the power of the heart to develop, to let go into, to melt into, to believe in, to have faith in. Sit in this room fully present in your body, having surrendered your fear or your worries, feeling free of them, feeling cared for in the hands of Spirit. Spirit will take care of whatever it is that your worry or fear was, and you're instilled with new self-confidence, trust, faith, and belief. As the heart energy pours through you and heals you and allows you to fully let go. Very nice. Now slowly bring yourself back into your body, feeling that sense of love, grateful for the release that you've requested and experienced. Bring yourself fully back into your body. Take a breath to anchor yourself in your body. Take a few breaths, anchor yourself back in your body, your full energy in your body. And come back into the room. Fully back into the room. This kind of surrender that you do in meditation and in prayer, it's a form of healing. It's a form of prayer, healing, and letting go of what doesn't work for you and moving towards trust and love. That's the antidote to fear and worry, is to actually feel that there is a power around you. You can call it angels, you can call it spirit, whatever you want, but since you were born, that has been with you. It's been within each one of us. You have resistance to knowing this one, but it's there. Melt, relax, no need to hold that guard so much. It's been with you. You don't have to worry. Do you know that? Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad. It's true for all of us that no one is here alone. Even if you were to have no friends, no family members, you are taken care of. You are here. And when you surrender, as you did in this meditation, you're surrendering to that being or that essence, however you might want to conceive of it. How is it to you? Yeah.
I find it very comforting when I make myself conscious of it.
Yes, yes. And at night, it's good to make yourself conscious of it when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I deliberately do that. Yeah.
Yes, that's wonderful. Do it every night and say a prayer.
I do.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, to be aware more and more of this, the presence, because when you say surrender, that implies you have to have trust in something, that you have trust in yourself first and foremost, that you are capable of letting it go, and that you are capable of dealing with whatever is placed in front of you, period. You are capable, and you have that. And when you surrender the worry, it heals you in so many ways. When you were doing that meditation and you let it go, did any of you have visceral sensations in your body? What was your sensation?
I could feel it. I could feel my
Where?
Starting here probably and just rising up.
Starting in your solar plexus?
Right, starting right here and just rising up through my entire body, my beingness, I would say, rather than my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you felt that release?
Oh, absolutely. I felt a healing.
Okay.
Yeah. And elusively, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Yes. Wait, let it come.
Sorry. I actually felt my heart moving in my body. And then I felt a whole lot of energy just going through my body and out the bottom of my feet.
Excellent. Sometimes the surrender happens through the feet. Or whatever it is you're holding on to, your fear, your frustration goes out through the feet. Good to know that your feet operate in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strong.
Okay, anybody else? Yes. Oh, we'll get to you. Okay.
I felt this air coming, like it just came out, and I just felt myself. I'm sorry.
Speak. Put it next to your mouth. So
I felt this air just coming out of me. I mean, I could hear it.
You felt air?
Yeah, just like I could hear it and feel it coming out, and I bumped into you. I think I fell asleep or something. I just felt I was moving. I just felt something. It just felt good coming out.
How did that feel?
It felt good, like something was just coming out of me and relaxing.
You're
very
ready.
relaxing. It was very unusual. It was good though. It felt very good.
Say thank you.
Everything.
Your
Thank you very much.
Gratitude for that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, back there.
I felt hugged, like I felt like I was being hugged in my stomach, and it was beautiful, very comforting that I had me.
Yes, to feel hugged.
With that connection, it's like me.
Yes.
Not the worry and
No,
outside
this
of
is there. Another good exercise is to hug yourself. Have you ever done that? If you haven't, let's do it. It feels so good.
Hug yourself. Just feel your love to yourself. Really get into it. And so you can give yourself that love and nurturing, that self-hug. That's really important. You know, to give yourself that just once a day at least, to hug yourself and to love yourself and send that love back to your own heart. So it's self-nurturing when you do that.
And it helps you feel safe and secure so you can surrender. But it's the hug from spirit, and it's also the human hug too. And hugs from others are good, from the right people. Yeah, not from the wrong people, but from the right people. Yes.
In the beginning of the meditation, I was feeling squeezed in my chest, like I thought it was a crown of thorns, piercing and hard. And then it actually became like a boa constrictor, just squeezing me tighter and tighter in a harmful way. And my heart just started to melt and grow. And the boa constrictor just sort of withered away, withered and got weaker than my heart. That was a nice image.
This is a good exercise for you. Do it at home, where you surrender. You keep surrendering consciously in meditation. This is very good for you. It will melt the constriction. Beautiful. Okay. Anybody else?
It's more visualization, I think, than thing. And it went from me loving myself to the whole world, and I saw the whole planet just sparkling, and the angels even came at the end. First we did, all of us in this room became enclosed in a big heart, big pink heart, and then we had like an opening at the bottom and fireworks flowing out to the whole planet. And then the angels were spinning, or something was spinning the whole earth, and all people had enough food to eat, and enough water to drink, clean water. And then war fires were put out. So I guess now it's affecting my body, but then it was just more visual, and it felt so good. And so it is for me and everybody.
Thank you. It's right here.
I'd like to share a celebration.
26 years ago, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4 with 29 tumors above and below the waist, given 6 months to live, supposedly. I talked to the head of oncology at Sloan Kettering, and I said, likely what would it really be? And he said, maybe 3 to 5. I said, well, what about 10? And he said, unlikely. And I said, what about 20? He said, no way. And I said, we'll see. So for those who are dealing with medical challenges, you can overcome anything. And reading Love, Medicine, and Miracles is why I'm here today.
Yes, in service of overcoming fear. No, fear is not your friend when you go through a health challenge. It's not your friend, and you must work as best you can to bring loving, merciful compassion to your body and to yourself. Know when you go through that. In the Surrender book, there's a chapter on illness and pain. It's not a challenge anyone would ask for, but it is a challenge many people get. You see, so if you're given that challenge, there are ways to approach it, and I would suggest reading that. There are mindset to approach it and surrenders to approach it. For instance, a quick tip is that when you're in pain, you don't resist it. You breathe through it. Now, if you resist pain and you start telling yourself negative stories about that pain and you clench and the body clenches and the stress hormones start rolling through the body, that makes the pain worse. Fear makes your pain worse. All right. Calm makes your pain better. Faith, trust, and the power of the heart, which is the ultimate surrender, that you want to surrender over and over and over again to the power of the heart. When you're having an illness, the place that we went to today in meditation, that's where you go to heal. To that place of heart-centered, unconditional love that connects you to spirit, a larger spirit. You start from within, you sense without. That's the healing place. All right, it's not beating yourself up. It's not catastrophizing. It's about saying, my fear is getting the best of me. I'm going to bring it back to the moment. The surrender is to the moment. When you go through difficult challenges, all you have is the moment. You can't think about what's going to happen 5 years from then. You have to deal with now. You know, this second, can I get through this second? Great. If that's what you can do, you surrender to this second, then the next second, you do not think about the future. You know, I mean, if the end is near or something and you have to plan, then that's one thing. But, you know, in terms of fear and catastrophizing, no, you always heal in the moment. And that's true if you're ill or not. The surrender is always to the moment. If you want to make the most out of your life, this is the moment, right here. You can string, they're like beautiful pearls that are strung together, all the moments of your life, you know, all the zillions of moments you're given, and then it's done. No more moments here for the time being. It is over. You're given this body. This is your spirit. This is what you must surrender to. Do not live in your head. Now, so many people in Western society are disembodied heads, and they walk around from here up. Right? What I'm suggesting is to surrender to your full body. Surrender to your beautiful intellect, but also your body, you know, from head to toe, your feet. Your feet. It went out your feet. I love feet. With all the reflexology points on the feet. Oh, it's amazing, the feet. You know, in terms of the energy there. But to be able to surrender to your whole body, your whole experience here on earth, and to know you're protected. To know that you're watched over even in dire circumstances. And when you can't make it on your own, when in terms of belief and faith, you have other people around you who can hold it for you. That's so important. When you can't do it and there are times come where it's just too hard, then, you know, it may come. Then other people around you can keep you afloat. Very important. Other people can do that. They have the power to do that for you. The people who love you, the people who have the faith. Because when my mother was dying, she felt that no God would allow her to be in such pain. And she had had faith throughout her life and went to religious services every week. She had faith, but she was in so much pain. And she said, you have to hold the faith for me. And I was able to do that. And that's a beautiful gift you can give to other people. Because sometimes that time comes where you have to hold the faith. So that's when your faith has to be very strong. and you can do it. You see, it gives me chills just thinking about it, the power of that, what we can give to one another if we can surrender our fears and just be, the powerful spiritual beings that we're meant to be without fear. Fear will cripple you. It'll keep you small. It'll keep you from attaining everything you can. So little by little, you surrender fear. Little by little, every day, you say, thank you for sharing. No, I'm going to the moment, back to the moment. And you just circle back to where you know you should be. But it takes mindful awareness. It takes, the fear pops up over and over again. It's like a jumping jack. Well, that's just what it does. I believe that part of our purpose of being here on earth is to learn how to deal with fear. It's so huge, so huge. To learn how to deal with fear and not be brought down by fear. You see, that's a very worthy challenge here on earth and this planet, of light and dark. So, you just do your best little by little, and it's always surrendering to what's good and not giving in to what's not good. You don't want to give in to your fears. You don't. You don't want to give them mileage. The minute the fear comes up, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get well. I'm never going to find my soulmate. My life is never going to get, whatever you say to yourself, don't let it go there. Stop. However you can do it. It's like turning the Titanic sometimes. Once you start going in that direction, there's such a pull. But then you stop because you train yourself. You have to train yourself. You have to develop a philosophy. Know what you want to do in terms of the heart. You want to go towards the heart, not the fear. And although it's a hard choice to drag yourself away from fear because it's so strong, you must. That's the spiritual exercise. Those are the muscles you need to develop. And so even though it's hard, even though that fear is screaming at you, you say, all right, I come back to my heart. I come back to my belief in spirit. I come back to my belief in self. I will do good for someone. If at a loss as to how to help yourself, just help someone else really quickly. Just go out there, no matter how miserable you feel. Just help someone, and that will help get you out of it. All right, any questions about that one? Because that always works. Any questions? Just do it, even if you don't want to do it. I warn you, the ego doesn't want to surrender. It has no interest in surrendering. It's going to hold on forever. But it's your heart that wants to surrender. It's your heart that has the trust and knows what's good and true and right. And, this is an incredible thing to know in every cell of your being, as this will dictate your direction in life. If you choose a path with heart, you're on the right path. And I don't care what other people do. And I don't mean you're going to be a doormat and not set limits and boundaries and help to let go of toxic relationships and all of that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you follow it and you do it all with heart. When you say no to someone, namaste. No, I don't particularly want to be around you. I don't respect your behavior, but namaste, which means I respect the spirit within you. It's underneath it all. All why people betray, why people aren't happy, why people are at war, it's all because of fear. And some inadequacy and some insecurity, because when you're happy, you don't want to do any of those things. You just simply don't. You want to do other things. See, it's all fear-based. And so the planet is really crippled by fear and controlled by fear. But given that, you have the power to shift in yourself. And I believe that the most powerful changes that happen with the individual. I do. I believe in the power of individual change and that you have the power in yourself. And that is huge. It's huge. I don't know if masses of people can make this change. I hope so. I don't know. As I know how hard it is just on a day-to-day basis for somebody who's committed to doing it, how hard it is, how hard it can be, not always, but how hard it can be. But the devotion to doing it, as a spiritual path to overcome fear, to surrender to the heart and what is good, that's the path. That's the path to keep your eyes on. And when you wander into fear or hopelessness or despair depression, anxiety. Everyone has all those emotions. Everyone has all of them. And it's part of our spiritual challenge here on earth to deal with them and to transform them and to not be brought down by what's dark or negative. You see, I think it's a really fantastic challenge. I do. It's very rigorous. It's asking a lot of yourselves. But I think if you're on the path to passion, this is it. If you want to be passionate, you want to be young, you'll never get old if you do this. It'll keep you in top shape all the time. Staying in the moment, listening to the body, it just keeps you alert and awake and tuned into your intuition and, in wonder and awe of life. The surrender, of course, is not succumbing to fear, but it's also letting yourself be swept away by joy and swept away by the wonder and awe of it all here, and to keep looking up at the planets and the moon and the stars and the universe and know that you're part of a much greater plan that we don't have any idea really what's going on up there, or down. It's just so magnificent, whatever it is. So don't just keep thinking that your life's problems are all that there is, because it's not true. You're a speck in a bigger universe, but a glorious spiritual speck that if you can surrender some of these things, you become brighter. And that brightness is what can light up the world. The power of this. It seems mundane, but it's not. It's not. This can make you brighter. And each time you get a little brighter, there's more hope for everybody. And this is the path. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I try to live. This is what I write about. And this is what I try and teach. This is the path, and it will continue until you pass over. Then I don't know, then you get your journey in another form outside this body. But if you're interested in that, the last chapter of the Surrender book deals with death and the afterlife, which are fascinating topics to me. Really, because I'm a big believer in the afterlife, or whatever you want to call it, that the spirit, there is no such thing as death from my standpoint, that it's just this beautiful spirit that we have in us that we've developed in this life. It goes on to another phase, whatever that is. And do you see anybody here over there? Do you? Do your loved ones come with you? I don't know. But what's fascinating is the near-death experience research that has happened, the near-death experiences where people have gone to the other side, literally died, flatlined, come back, had the experience of love. What we did in here, by invoking the power of the heart, gets magnified, a million times when you pass over. Just mind-blowing experience of love, mind-blowing. And so they come back. Of course, with the priority of love and wanting to help the planet, wanting to help others, that's very common because they got a huge dose of it. On Earth, it's a little bit harder to conjure, here, because you have to do it consciously. But over there, I think it's just how it is. You don't have to conjure anything. You just, you go into it. But the people always come back, and they always tell the same story of light and life review, which I find fascinating, the concept of life review, where not in a judgmental sense, but to take accounting of your life. Where did you add? Where did you subtract? Where did you hurt people? How did you make amends? It's all like the yin-yang karma of the life review. I don't fully claim to understand it, but I think it's really powerful. And they report it every time, the life review, or very frequently, the life review, where you are reviewed in a way, but not in the way you think, not in the judgmental religious way that, guilt. It's not like that. It's more, from my understanding, a sense of wholeness and a sense of where you're going next and what needs to be worked on next and where your triggers and so forth. It's more of a balancing of energy, it feels like, in a directional life review passage. But it seems to be a life review. And that's why I love in the 12-step programs, they have the 10th step. Are you familiar with 12-step programs? A lot of you is. 10th step is to take a personal inventory every night of what went okay that day, what do you need to make amends for, how to celebrate yourself, really just make an inventory of the day every day. and correct whatever wrongs, quickly. Quickly. Don't let them linger. And I love that. And I think we can do that. I certainly do that in my life. If every day I do, because I don't want to accumulate things. I don't want to accumulate karma. And I know, like, if I'm triggered and I don't want to make amends or I don't want to fix it, that's my stuff. I really have to work on that. And I'm pretty diligent. Even though I might get into resistance, I finally, usually take the high road. But I want to, I want to, which is a lot, saying a lot, you see. But that's this path of surrender, and knowing you're going to meet resistance in yourself, and knowing that you can overcome it if your priority is the heart. If your priority is ego and being right, no, you will not overcome it. That's not how to overcome it. But if your priority is the heart, and even if you have to say goodbye to a person who isn't right for you in your life anymore, it still can come from the heart. It doesn't have to come from being vindictive or hateful. It doesn't. It's just a goodbye. This is it for us for now. Not working. And some of you are letting go of relationship, or letting go of the fear of letting go of relationship. A couple layers there. Sometimes relationships don't last forever. You hope they will. And I have long-time friends I've had for many, many years, but some people drift in and out. And some love relationships, you think they're the one. And they last, whatever, a month, a year, 10 years, but then it runs its course. And you can't really control that. You do your best to keep something alive. But sometimes when it's over, it's over. And people have a hard time letting go. It's just really hard to let go of somebody. I'm not saying it isn't, but sometimes you have to sense with your intuition when the timing of things is. If something's over, you can feel it. You may not want it to be over, but when it's over, it's time to keep moving on. You don't keep looking back. That's a mistake. You have to be a warrior and say, I'm moving forward if that's what I want, or I'm moving backward, but I'm not staying here in this limbo state of going nowhere. You see, so these are all really powerful decisions. Can you feel it? Yeah, but this is the path of surrender. But there are a few things you have to get straight first about making a commitment to move toward the heart and not fear. I mean, you've got to be pretty adamant about that. You've got to be adamant about a basic philosophy about life, because if you deviate from that one, then you don't really have your priorities set. But if you believe that, and I think that's what this community is about, and so many New Thought communities, and the teachings of love, the teachings of Jesus in the purest sense, the unconditional love. And every teacher who's ever taught about the Sacred Heart. Now, why are they teaching about it? What are they talking about? Why do they all think it's so important? Because it is. It really is. They're the people to listen to, not the others. Just language of the heart, that's it. Anybody has any other reason for doing something, it's not that great. From my perspective, it's, especially the older I get, and I really want to make the most of my time. I've always wanted to make the most of my time, but even more, I want to be around heart-centered people. I don't want to be around egomaniac narcissists or borderlines. I don't want to. I just don't have the interest or the time for it. And I say that because I know a lot of people do have a lot of time spent with rolling around with that one, all those people. You have to set your priorities. Who do you want to be with? How do you want to spend your time on earth? Who do you want to surrender to? If for those of you who are wanting to surrender fear so you could be with love again, make sure you find a person who knows how to love. The other ones just don't know how to do it, and you can't teach them really. So you've got to find somebody who knows how to love and likes to love. Right? Charlie? He's in his spot. You're a man who knows how to love. He doesn't have to say anything. You're welcome. He's off the hook. He's never been on the hook. But in terms of what you're looking for, be really smart about it. Don't just surrender your fear and be with a narcissist, because then you're set up for disaster. Look at your patterns. There's a section in the surrender book on being attracted to unavailable people and how to heal that pattern. What a little squeal over here. Is that you? It's in the chapter on soulmates, soul friends, and animal companions. You what? I have an animal companion. Good. But are you attracted to unavailable people? One way or another, yeah. Okay, you've got to heal that before you get into a relationship again. So the problem with that pattern is it can repeat for years and years. And let me just give you a hint. Sometimes it's connected to if you have an unavailable father or mother and you keep wanting to transform somebody and heal that initial parental relationship where you didn't get that availability. I know it seems like it's going to work, but it won't. It's just you can't heal that primary relationship that way. Go through that sections. You have to heal yourself in terms of what you're looking for and what your expectations are. And then you can be with somebody, hopefully you can accept the love of, it's a little shocking if you're always with unavailable people and somebody who's actually able to love shows up. That's a whole other challenge, but it's a worthy challenge. You want to go towards that one. As you're so used to, well, why didn't he call and why did he do this? And when he said he was going to do this and I felt such a connection, with him or her, and why didn't they follow through with it? And you're talking to your friends endlessly about it. And just as a tip, if ever you're trying to decode behavior, it's unavailable. Okay? You don't want to be on your friends and with your friends on the phone endlessly decoding someone's behavior. Unavailable. So you have to know. I wrote a blog about this in Elephant Journal, and I got something like 30,000 hits in one night on this one article. It's such an epidemic, really. You're not alone. And anyone else here who can relate to that. But look at it as a spiritual challenge. All right? This isn't just, pop psychology. If you can heal this in yourself, then you're going to let love in. Yeah, you too. Yeah, just don't go for the wrong ones. And how do you know they're the wrong ones? You test them out over time. Yeah, don't get married too early. Right, okay. It's never again, right? Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Orloff, I will often suggest to people that when they're starting a new relationship, think of it as somebody auditioning to be in their life and make the audition long enough. And then you don't sometimes it's going well, sometimes it's not going well. And then you have some time to get to know them.
Yeah. Just don't jump. Sometimes I've seen people jump and it works out. I've seen that where soulmates meet. 2 seconds later, they're married and in bliss and happy forever and ever. Not that a soulmate relationship is always about being happy forever and ever. You're spiritual mirrors for each other, so your stuff comes up. It comes up. Mirror, mirror, you have to look at yourself over and over again. That's what so if you want the challenge of relationship, if you want a deep relationship, it's about that. You'll have difficulties. And don't run. If you find somebody who you want to be with, go for it. My spiritual teacher says, everybody has issues. Everybody has problems. It just depends on what set of problems you want to get involved with. I think it's pretty true. It just depends on which ones you feel like you want to get involved with. Nobody is perfect. Everybody's got something. And hopefully you are discerning that about what set of problems you want to get involved with, and hopefully you're with a partner who wants to work on him or herself. As if you can't do all the work, like Dave, who he had to go to a gig, he said, but you know how he was involved with someone and trying to hold the relationship afloat. You can't be the only one. It takes two really committed people in a relationship. So, okay, well, I hope this has really inspired you to practice the art of surrender a bit more, and to look at your lives in a very positive way in terms of your challenges that you're faced with and the spirituality of them, and to love yourself as much as you can through it, and love others through the whole thing. And don't do it alone. Don't try and do it alone. You know, try and open up to community and to have others, because you're going to need them and they're going to need you. You know, we have to help each other through this earth experience here. It's very rough, you know, especially if you're very sensitive. It can be very overwhelming, you know, at times. And we didn't talk about that today, about empath, and that's a whole other discussion. But I just want to say, they have my other books here. Guide to Intuitive Healing is learning how to develop intuition. Emotional Freedom is about learning to deal with emotions specifically and transform the negative ones into more positive ones. And Second Sight, which is my first book, about my journey as a psychic child, as an intuitive child, and all the fears I had about that, and how I overcame that, and how I, you know, now I'm a physician and integrate. So it's more my personal memoirs, and somehow too about developing. So they have all those out there, and there's some CDs. Oh, for the healers, there's a CD, Becoming an Intuitive Healer, which is a 4 CD set about an intuitive workshop I gave for healthcare professionals if you want to develop intuition in healthcare. So there are only 3 of them, but they're out there. So are there any final comments, questions, anything you'd like to share before we tie up? All right. Well, thank you so much for the quality of your presence, and thank you for having me, Reverend Heather.